Dale, first of all, you've now been in your role just over 2 months. How have you found it so far working here at the club?
It's been good. There's a lot of good people in this building that want to make things better at the football club. From my perspective, there was a period of me analysing how things were being run, but on the whole, we now have a direction of travel, and I think the crux of it for me, Gareth, is that we have a club that's got a lot of potential. It's how we tap into that and make that achievable for the long term.
And of course, just first of all, in the January window, there's been a lot of player news and contract negotiations and contract extensions. Is there just a bit more information you can give us on that just now?
Yeah, the conversation that the manager and I had when I came in was that the manager had always been left to kind of plan window to window for one season, and the one thing that we both wanted to look at was how we could protect the club in the longer term by securing players on longer contracts, or not necessarily longer contracts as well, but looking at also how we could extend contracts and give the manager then a strong base to start from the following season. The manager has done brilliant in terms of identifying who he's wanted. The wee bit that I hope has helped the manager in that period is that a lot of the negotiation and the conversations with agents, etc., has now come to myself. And doing contracts and negotiating isn't always the nicest part of the job, so thank you for that, Dougie. But listen, what it does is it gives the football club the strongest possible footing. It protects the football club more, and we're delighted to get the guys that have signed so far over the line. We've probably got one more bit to do in this window, but time will tell on that one. Also the pre-contract for Jordan Davies as well, where the manager, we were at playing Cally Thistle on the 30th of December up in Inverness, and the manager's down to Wales and Hogmanay 24 hours later to watch Jordan, which I think shows testament to the man that we have in the building leading the football operation. So listen, we have a really good football staff. It's about the board and myself, as we have done, trying to enable as best we can the manager to be successful on the pitch. The players, to their merit, have done absolutely fantastic over this last spell. And I think there's a genuine belief and togetherness within the football club in terms of the football department that, we have a really good group, and that has been led by a very good young manager.
And it's not just on the park, there's been changes obviously behind the scenes as well. There's been a couple of additions and maybe one or two more to come. Yeah,
we've been able to add to our off-field operation. For example, we've had Brian Main come in as a commercial manager, and Alistair Joyce has come in as club secretary on a permanent basis. We probably have one more to add to that, but as it stands right now, really, really happy with what we've been able to do in that sense. I think most people would agree that the club has run in a very short staff for a very long period of time, and the demands of football in 2024 are very different to the demands of football even 5 years ago. So to be able and have the ability to bring in staff has been vitally important. It's also reducing people doing 4 or 5 jobs to maybe them covering 2 or 3 areas, which again, it's got to be sustainable for each individual. Everyone has to feel like they've got their development opportunities and the chance to grow and being able to do their job. Again, when I came in, it was a case of letting things run as it was to analyse what we were doing. Then, as you know, Gareth pulled everyone in on the 8th of January and kind of outlined what my expectations were going forward. I have to say the reaction to that has been absolutely fantastic. The staff that we've got in the building have really bought into what we're trying to do and how we're trying to make things better for everyone. And listen, that's all we can ask for and all we can hope for. And again, I go back to, we have a really good group of staff off the field, we have a really good football management staff, and we have a really good group of players in the dressing room. So when you get that harmony, and that's quite rare to find in football sometimes, that good things happen. And I think, when you look at even the strides that a lot of people won't see publicly that we've made behind the scenes, we're beginning to get more of a well-oiled machine.
And looking ahead to the rest of the year, it's obviously a big year for the club with the 150th anniversary coming up and a few events still to get announced. Is there more information you can give us on that?
Yeah, so obviously before I came in, I had mentioned that the 150th was a big pull for me in terms of what I felt could be celebrated. We've looked at a host of events. Hopefully we can roll those events out in the next week to 10 days. We've been working very, very hard on that for a number of weeks now in terms of what the 150th anniversary will look like. There's one event in particular that could be a real shining beacon for the 150th anniversary that I'm really keen to get over the line. We're working very hard on that right now with support of a couple of big people outside the football club. And, you know, I don't want the year to go unmarked. What I want us to do is maximise every opportunity we have to celebrate such a remarkable anniversary. You know, again, if you look at football in 2024, sometimes we lose the history of clubs in translation through the way things move. But for me, we certainly have the opportunity to have a right good go at celebrating this remarkable 150th anniversary for the football club.
And just finally, part of your role is obviously engaging with the community and, you know, listening to their feedback. How have you found it so far on that side of things?
There's two strands to it. The first strand being the community engagement with Morton and the community. And I'll tackle that one first because it's probably the negative one, where I don't feel as a football club we do enough. Morton and the community and their staff have become the face of Greenock Morton Football Club over the last few years. And, you know, we need to get more engagement from the football club with the work that they do. I've known Brian for a long time, even before I came to the football club, and how he's built Morton and the community over the last 10 years has been nothing short of remarkable. And it's our job to make sure that we support that, enable that, and make sure that they've got our backing every point in turn. And the second part is the support and engagement, which feeds into that. You know, again, we talk about player appearances, so forth. If you look at the reaction to what we had when we did just a wee bit with Cardwell Garden Centre before Christmas, there was a great reaction. We need to do more of that. We need to be more visible in the local community. But in terms of the supporters, Gareth, you were in the room when we went through the survey results that we'd done in December, which was a very basic survey to give us a very basic outline, which is what we needed. It's given us a direction of travel. It's let us know where the priorities of the fans sit. That will be dovetailed by a family excellence framework that I'm looking to bring into the football club now. That will be more focused on the match day experience, which needs to improve. If you look back at the Partick game a couple of weeks ago, we had 3,500 people here, over 1,000 more than our average attendance throughout the season. So the job is then, how do you keep 10% of those, which is 100 people? It's extremely tough, and it's a challenge that every club faces. But we need to get more people into the football club, and when we do, we need to make sure that there's an experience there for people to enjoy. I'll add to that you know, obviously when the Partick game did swing around, there was an issue with ingress to the stadium, which was addressed and tackled within 48 hours of the event. You know, it's not that we're blind to these things. I made a statement to the Telegraph on the Monday, and you know, the one thing we won't shirk away from is making sure that we communicate fully. But again, a big part for us going forward is the fans are the majority shareholder of the football club, so we need to make sure that we give them the best opportunity to see success on and off the field, and an environment that is conducive to a positive place for people to come and enjoy themselves. But there are the two parts to it. There's the Morton and the community part, and then there's the supporter part. But I have to say, we're not a million miles away from where we need to be in every facet of the club. It's probably that it's a short distance, but it's a big hill to climb. And I genuinely believe with the people that we have in the building, we're not a million miles away from getting it right.